The most dangerous person in your life has never been arrested. They walk free every single day. They have unlimited access to you 24 hours, 7 days a week. They know every fear you have ever had. They know every failure. They know exactly what words will stop you cold and precisely when to strike. When you are tired, when you are vulnerable, when you are alone in the dark. And here is the part that will stay with you. You cannot leave this person. You cannot block them. You cannot get a restraining order. Because this person, this most dangerous, most relentless enemy in your entire life, lives inside your own head. And their name is your unguarded mind. Your own thoughts are killing you. Not dramatically, not all at once. Slowly, the way carbon monoxide kills, invisibly, without warning, while you go about your day, believing the air around you is safe. Most people never question their thoughts. They treat every thought that arises as if it is the truth. But here is what nobody taught you. A thought is not a fact. A thought is not your identity. A thought is not a verdict. It is just a thought, an electrical signal, a pattern, a habit of the mind. And like all habits, it can be changed. But first, it must be seen for what it is. Think about the last time your mind told you something that stopped you. The voice that said, "They will judge you. You are not ready. You are not good enough. Who do you think you are?" Think about how convincing that voice sounded. And now, think about how many times it was actually right. In most cases, the catastrophe it predicted never came. The rejection never arrived. The humiliation never happened. Your mind generated an emergency that did not exist. And you paid the price for a disaster that never happened by not doing the thing that could have changed your life. That is not protection. That is sabotage. The brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed for one thing only: survival. And that ancient survival brain is now pointing its power at your relationships, your ambitions, your self-worth, and treating all of them like predators. Your brain is running ancient software in a modern world. The average person has between 60 and 80,000 thoughts per day. 80% of those are negative, and 95% are the exact same thoughts they had yesterday. Most people are running the same dark, limiting, fear-based content on an endless loop and calling it thinking. It is not thinking. It is a recording. And that recording is shaping every decision you make, every opportunity you pursue or avoid, every story you tell yourself about who you are. You are not your thoughts. But if you never learn to question them, you will spend your entire life living as if you are. There was a man, brilliant, capable, full of ideas that could have changed things. He had the vision, the work ethic, the relationships. He had everything the situation required. And yet, he never did it. Year after year, he came to the edge and stepped back because the answer to what stopped him was not a circumstance or an obstacle. It was a voice so constant and so quiet that he had stopped hearing it as a voice and started hearing it as the truth. The voice said, "You are not the kind of person this works for. Remember what happened last time? People like you do not get to have things like that." And he believed it, not because he chose to, but because he never once stopped to ask, "Is this actually true?" He sentenced himself without defense. He is still waiting. He will always be waiting. Because the voice never runs out of material. You have to stop it. And you cannot stop what you cannot see. So how do you see it? The first step is the one most people find almost impossible. Stop believing everything you think. Not stop thinking. Not force positive thoughts, but create a gap, even a tiny gap, between the thought and your response to it. Catch the thought, and instead of immediately agreeing with it, ask, "Wait, is this true? Where did this come from? Whose voice is this really? Is this wisdom? Or is this fear wearing the costume of wisdom?" Because fear is an excellent costume designer. Fear sounds reasonable. Fear uses your own voice and your own memories and your own pain as evidence. But fear is not interested in your growth. Fear is interested in your stillness. And every time you accept fear's verdict without cross-examination, you sentence yourself to a smaller life. The most dangerous thoughts are never the dramatic ones. They are the quiet ones running beneath everything else, like a hidden current. The quiet thought that says, "I do not deserve this. This will probably not work out. I should not want too much. People like me do not get this far." These thoughts do not announce themselves. They arrive disguised as realism, as humility, as being practical. But realism that consistently limits you is not realism. It is a trained smallness, and smallness was taught to you, which means it can be unlearned. Most of the thoughts limiting your life right now were not generated by you. They were installed by people and experiences and environments that had their own fears and wounds and limitations. And those installed programs are running your life, not your intelligence, not your values. The old installed programs. And the most important work of your life is to become aware of those programs and begin deliberately and patiently to rewrite them. The thoughts you most protect are the most dangerous ones, the ones you have carried longest, the ones that feel most like facts, the ones you would defend if challenged. But length of residence is not truth. A thought you have had for 20 years is not more accurate than one you had yesterday. It is just more practiced. Familiarity and truth are not the same thing. You are the one paying the price for what your mind tells you to do or not do. You are the one carrying the weight of every opportunity your fear convinced you to avoid. You are the one lying awake at night with the unlived life pressing against your chest. And because you are the one paying the price, you have every right, every responsibility to become the guardian of what lives in that mind, not a passive tenant, the guardian, the one who decides what enters, what stays, and what was never true to begin with. The door to your mental prison was never locked from the outside. It was always locked from the inside. And the key that has always existed, is awareness. The moment you see a thought for what it is, a pattern, a habit, a program, not a truth, it begins to lose its power. Not immediately, but it begins. And that beginning is everything. Guard your mind. Question what you think. Demand evidence from the voice that tells you to stay small. And in the space between the thought and the response, choose. Choose again and again the thoughts that serve your life. Your mind is not your enemy, but it will become one if you never learn to guard it. Guard it. Question it. Choose it. The life you want is not outside of you waiting for circumstances to change. It is inside you, waiting for your thoughts to.